picture this. September 8th, 2010. It seems like just an ordinary workday. Marty Hill, she's a dedicated employee at at a local apparel company. She's expected at a 10 a.m. production meeting. But 10 a.m. comes and goes, and there's no Marty.
Oh, wow.
At first, her coworkers, they don't think anything of it.
Right.
Maybe she just got caught up with something, right?
Yeah, it happens.
But as the minutes tick by and the unanswered calls, the texts, it all starts piling up. A sense of unease, kind of starts to creep in.
Yeah, you can feel it. Something's not right.
Exactly. And by 11:30, a coworker, really worried, decides to go check on Marty at her house.
Oh, okay.
Her car's there in the driveway, but the house is it's eerily silent. So they call the police.
Oh, no.
And what those officers find inside is, it'll send chills down your spine.
I can only imagine.
Welcome to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Crime series. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. So the police, they go into Marty's house. Everything seems untouched, almost too perfect.
Ah, that's unsettling.
And then they notice it, sitting right there on the table, a woman's purse. Right then, they know something is terribly wrong.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag. Something's definitely off.
They cautiously make their way down to the basement. And that's where they find Marty, barely clinging to life.
Oh my gosh. It's that detail, the purse, that really gets to me. It's just a small thing, but it's like a silent alarm bell. Instantly telling the police, hey, this isn't a simple case of someone running late. It's a sign that something sinister, something bad has happened.
It's like a piece of the puzzle that just doesn't fit. And it immediately sets off those alarm bells.
Right.
And then the scene in the basement.
Absolutely horrific.
Marty's covered in blood with severe injuries to her head and neck. It's the kind of scene that would shake even the most seasoned investigator.
Absolutely. The level of violence is just shocking. It wasn't just about, subduing her. This was brutal. This attack, it was fueled by rage.
Right.
And for investigators, it raises a crucial question, right? Who would do something like this to Marty?
Of course, the first place their minds go is the usual suspect. The ex-husband, Steve Hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's often the case, isn't it?
It's natural for suspicion to fall on the ex, especially in a case as violent as this one.
Right.
But here's the thing. Steve was cooperative from the start.
Really?
Yeah, he invited the police in, willingly answered their questions. He even maintained his love for Marty throughout the whole investigation.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't add up.
So if it wasn't Steve, then who was it?
Well, that's where the investigation takes a really interesting turn. Marty's mother, she gave the police a new lead, a construction worker named Brian Pennington. He had done some work on Marty's mother's house recently, and, she had recommended him to Marty.
So someone Marty knew, at least indirectly, through her own mother. It's chilling to think that someone you trust, someone recommended by your own family, could be capable of such a horrific act.
It really shatters that sense of security we have in our own homes with the people we think we know. It really does. And it just adds another layer of complexity to the investigation.
So what did the police do with this new information about Brian?
They decided to pay him a visit, unannounced. They wanted to see his reaction, to gauge his demeanor before he had time to, prepare, come up with a story.
Seems like a smart move, catching him off guard. Did they find anything suspicious?
Right away, they noticed some red flags. Brian had these visible scratches on his face, and when they asked him about them, his explanation was, unconvincing, to say the least.
Oh.
Yeah, he claimed his dog had scratched him, but the injuries, they didn't really match up with that story.
So the police are starting to get a bad feeling about this, Brian. What happened next?
Well, they asked him a pretty straightforward question. Did he have any clothes with blood on them? And here's where it gets interesting. Brian, he readily agreed to let them search his house. He even led them straight to a pair of jeans with bloodstains hidden in his hamper.
Wait, he just handed over the evidence? That's almost unbelievable. Why would he do that?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Was he naive, arrogant? Did he just genuinely underestimate the police? Or was there something else going on, something we're not seeing yet? Whatever the reason, it was a huge mistake on his part. Yeah, talk about digging yourself deeper into a hole. He might have thought he was being clever, but really he was just handing the police more and more evidence to use against him.
And to make matters even worse for Brian, another major development was about to turn the tide of this investigation completely.
Oh.
Marty regained consciousness.
Wow.
And she immediately named Brian as her attacker.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine the impact of that?
It must have been huge.
Oh, it was pivotal. Having the victim actually identify their attacker, that's incredibly powerful evidence.
Right.
And it completely shifted the focus of the investigation. It wasn't just about circumstantial evidence or suspicious behavior anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Now they had a direct accusation from the victim herself.
What was it like for Marty being able to actually name her attacker? I mean, after such a horrific experience.
It must have been both terrifying and empowering at the same time.
Yeah.
Imagine the courage it took for her to relive those traumatic moments, to have to recount the attack in detail. But it also gave her a voice, a chance to fight back against the man who tried to silence her.
So what did Marty reveal about the attack?
Her testimony was chilling, and it painted a very clear picture of exactly what happened that morning. She remembered Brian knocking on her door early that morning, claiming he needed to retrieve something from the basement. So she let him in, and as she's walking down the stairs ahead of him, he just suddenly attacks.
Oh, gosh.
She described the feeling of helplessness as he strangled her, her voice fading away, and then the terrifying moments of being beaten and having her throat slashed.
It's hard to even fathom the terror she must have felt, the sheer brutality of that attack.
It wasn't a crime of passion, that's for sure. It was calculated, vicious, and it left Marty with both physical and emotional scars. Scars that would likely take a lifetime to heal.
So Brian's caught, red-handed with the blood-stained jeans. Marty has now identified him as her attacker. I mean, what happened next? Did he confess?
Well, not right away. In fact, his wife, Jessica, she initially provided him with an alibi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But later, she broke down and admitted to lying. She said she did it out of fear.
Fear of Brian. Is that what you're saying?
It's certainly a possibility. I mean, think about it. A man capable of that kind of brutality towards someone he supposedly knew, someone he'd been recommended to, well, it's not a stretch to imagine his own wife might be terrified of crossing him.
It adds a whole other layer of darkness to this case, doesn't it? The ripple effect of violence, the way it impacts not just the victim, but everyone around them as well.
Exactly. And it really highlights the insidious nature of domestic violence, the way it creates an atmosphere of fear and control that extends way beyond the immediate victim.
So Jessica's confession basically crumbles Brian's alibi. Did he finally admit to the crime?
He did eventually enter a guilty plea, seemingly taking responsibility for his actions. But what happened at the sentencing hearing, well, let's just say it sent shockwaves through the courtroom.
Really? What happened?
Brian, he attempted to withdraw his guilty plea.
What?
Yeah. He appeared completely bewildered by the prospect of actually facing 28 years in prison.
Wait, he pleaded guilty and then tried to take it back. Why would he do that?
It was a bizarre twist, and it left everyone wondering if he truly understood the severity of his actions or the consequences he was facing.
Right.
It's possible he was in a state of denial, unable to reconcile himself with the idea of spending decades behind bars. Or maybe he was just trying to, manipulate the system, hoping for a lighter sentence.
Oh, so what did the judge do?
The judge saw right through it. He denied Brian's request to withdraw his plea. He recognized it for what it was, a desperate attempt to escape the consequences of his horrific actions.
So the sentencing went ahead as planned. What was it like in that courtroom?
It was heavy with emotion. The victim impact statements were particularly powerful.
I bet.
I mean, imagine Marty standing face to face with the man who had so brutally attacked her,
Right.
asking him just one simple question. Why?
Blah.
But Brian, he remains silent, offering no explanation, no remorse.
I can't imagine the strength it must have taken for Marty to confront him like that.
Yeah.
And then to get no answer, no acknowledgement of the pain he caused. It must have been devastating.
It was a chilling display of indifference, and it left everyone, the victims, their families, grappling with the most unsettling aspect of this whole case. There was no clear motive.
Yeah, it's like he robbed them of even that small bit of understanding, that sliver of closure. To not even know why, it just adds to the horror, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It underscores the random, the senseless nature of this crime. It forces us to confront the unsettling reality that sometimes there are no easy answers, no clear explanations for the darkness that exists in the world.
Right.
And that can be a very difficult thing to process, especially for the victims, for their families.
Absolutely.
So what happened to Brian? What was his sentence? Well, he was sentenced to 28 and a half years in prison.
Wow.
It's a significant punishment, reflecting the gravity of his crime. And while no amount of time can truly undo the harm he caused, it does offer a sense of justice, a sense of accountability for his actions.
And what about Marty? How did she cope with the aftermath of such a horrific experience?
Her resilience is remarkable, truly. Despite the physical and emotional trauma she endured, Marty showed this incredible determination to reclaim her life. Through extensive physical therapy, she even took up kickboxing, finding ways to heal, to rebuild her strength, both physically and mentally.
It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit, isn't it?
It really is.
The ability to find a way forward, even in the face of unimaginable pain of adversity.
Marty's story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for healing, for recovery, and it's a testament to the importance of support systems.
Yeah.
The role that family and friends, even complete strangers, can play in helping someone navigate the aftermath of trauma.
It's a story that stays with you. It makes you think about the fragility of life, the importance of cherishing every moment, and the strength we all possess within us to overcome even the most challenging obstacles. What stands out to you most about Marty's story?
For me, it's the contrast between the ordinariness of Marty's life and then the extraordinary violence she endured. It underscores the idea that evil can lurk anywhere, even in the most unexpected places. But it's also Marty's resilience, her unwavering determination to reclaim her life. That's what truly resonates with me.
Hmm.
Her story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and healing, well, they are possible.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to share your thoughts on this case. What struck you most about Marty's story? Join the conversation in the comments. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to CrimePod Castle and our YouTube channel for more gripping true crime stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.